My name's Sheley. I graduated from Northwestern in 1999 with a degree in sociology and a minor in women's studies, which I hear is something else now, which I'm fine with, but I don't know the new name. I ended up a sociology major because Bernie Beck, who I think is retired, was my advisor. I'm from deep southern Illinois. I'm one of the students that came in with 0 AP classes because my high school didn't have it. And I walked into his office with a schedule of calculus, English, chemistry, and something. And we got down to talking about chemistry, and I burst into tears. And he said, if you're having this strong of a reaction to chemistry, maybe we should substitute it with Intro to Sociology. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. And it turned out to be an excellent fit. I'd always been interested in social science. I'd kind of taken a couple of classes in high school to the extent that we had them. And it ended up being a really good fit for me throughout all 4 years while I was at Northwestern. I was an RA here. I was fairly involved with a lot of student groups while I was here. And I ended up writing a senior honors thesis on kind of the intersections between rural and urban women and feminism in the context of doing abortion counseling. I don't even know if I can say the thesis that is my thesis anymore, but that was something what it was about. After I graduated, I became an investigator at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is a federal agency that investigates claims of employment discrimination in the workplace. I feel like I really lucked out into that. I had a very strong, 21-year-old to 22-year-old's commitment to doing public interest work. Had no clue what I was going to do when I graduated, and just kept applying until something stuck. That one did. I went in through the honors program. I stayed there for 2 years, and because of the background that I had in sociology and kind of the stats classes we had to take, I got put in charge of doing I can't believe this was like I was the person doing this, but I was in charge of doing the quantitative analysis for all of the employment discrimination cases that were at the agency for those 2 years. Because I knew what a standard deviation was. It was like one of those strange things that you just don't want to think about too hard now that you're past it. But so I enjoyed that. I ended up kind of tracking into doing the more systemic cases while I was there, and I wanted to have more control over what I was doing, so I decided to apply to law school. And I highly recommend, if you're thinking of going to law school, to work first, because it grounds you. It means that you've had a job where you actually know what a normal work schedule is like, which a lot of lawyers don't know, so they don't know how to peg it against the expectations that can come with large firms or even smaller places. And I think it's also just good to get real-world experience before you're kind of dumped into this super strange place that's the entire legal profession, really. I always wanted to live in either New York or California, so I applied to schools in those two places, and I got into Columbia and went, and continued on the public interest path. But when I graduated, I didn't get any of the fellowships that people who want to do public interest get. And since it was 2004, not 2014, and there were jobs aplenty, I ended up at one of the big firms in New York and did that for a while. Then I clerked, then I moved back to Chicago and worked at a small shop that works on behalf of plaintiffs who are discriminated against in their employment. So I kind of worked back into that area. And I stayed there for a little while, and then a fellowship opened up at the ACLU of Illinois. And I jumped on it, and I held on to it, and I have not let them let me leave. So I've been there for 5 years now. I'm a staff attorney at this point.